Hey guys, I'm Matt Hernandez, and today we're going to talk about sports banner templates. Okay, so I'm really excited to announce that today I'm finally releasing my first banner template called Field of Dreams. I've been talking about doing this for years, and honestly, I guess I don't really know why I haven't done it until now. It does take a lot of setup to get stuff like this going, but I finally, after I posted these McCracken County baseball banners that I use this template on, I had a lot of people ask me if it was available for purchase, and I decided it was finally time to make these where people could buy them. It took quite a bit of work, but I built them, I think, in a very intuitive and user-friendly way where hopefully anybody, especially after watching this video, can use them easily. I know that that's why photographers buy stuff like this, is because they may not know a whole lot about Photoshop, and they want to keep that as minimal as possible. They want to stick to shooting and editing their pictures and not have to worry about design like this whenever they get asked to do banners and stuff like that. So a lot of people, I've even heard people turn them down, and you don't ever want to turn down work, and you can make good money making sports banners for seniors and things like that. So, you know, you don't ever want to do that. So hopefully this will be able to help people out and we can all win. So today, that's what this video is about. I want to dive into Photoshop and show you how to use them, and hopefully it'll be pretty straightforward and easy. So let's jump over to Photoshop and get going. Okay, so when you purchase this template pack, again, it's called Field of Dreams. It's based on the movie Field of Dreams. So the McCracken County baseball seniors this year, they've had this idea for a few years, which is pretty cool because they've been sitting on it for a while and didn't tell anybody until this year. So they wanted their theme for this year for their schedule poster and for their senior banners to be based on that movie. So, which is a baseball classic movie, obviously. So we found somebody with some corn, and before it got cut down, we went out, got a good sunset, took some group pictures. I think they have 14 or 15 seniors, so it's a big class. So we did a group picture for their schedule poster, and then individuals obviously for their banner templates. Now we took the banner photos of the kids inside. I took the background pictures that day whenever we did the group picture in front of the corn, which was actually taken with the corn. Then their individuals were taken in an indoor facility. So that is what you'll need to do for these templates. You're gonna have to cut the people out, or the players out that you're gonna put into them, obviously. But that gives you a lot of versatility. You can move them around. So I built the background so that you can move the corn around a little bit, move it up and down and side to side just a little bit on all of these, I think. I think it's on all of them. It's on most of them anyway, so that you've got a little bit of leeway there. You can put it up or down. Like I had a couple kids, like one was, he was pretending like he was putting the baseball with his baseball bat. So I had to get down on the ground and take it from a low angle. So you can, I made the individuals where you can raise the corn up and you can put turf on it at the bottom. You have to take that with their individual picture, but then you can have the ground in it also. So they're versatile in that respect. So we've got group banners and we've got individual banners. There's going to be 11 total files, including a button and a memory mate. So you get a lot of bang for your buck here. So before we go any further, so I don't forget, I want to show you how to get to them real quick. That's not the right one. Okay, so go to Matthernandez.shop, and then just in the header, go to templates, and it's going to take you to another website, payhip.com, which we're actually working on changing that URL. But at the time these come out, it may still be payhip.com /Matt Hernandez, but that will be changed later, hopefully to Matthernandez.shop. So when you go there right now, there's only one. There's going to be more. I'm working on 2 more that should be available very, very soon. So, and they're actually on sale. So the normal price is going to be $95. For the introductory price, we're going to do $75. So we're going to do $20 off for 2 weeks, and this is on May 8th. 2024, whenever we're releasing them. So you got 2 weeks to get that special price. So when you go to this website, you just click on the little thumbnail, and then it takes you to the template page, and you see examples of the individuals. There's the one I was talking about with the guy putting the baseball with the baseball bat. There's a group photo. We've got a more square version, a more pano version. There's a memory mate, and then there's the button. There's the description here. It shows you all the different sizes you get, and they're sized for the typical sizes that you would order photos in. So 1x2, 1x3, 2x3, 4x5, and 5x7, and then a 4x5 memory mate, which would equal an 8x10. So these are all, so the 4x5, for example, is actually sized at 16x20 at 300 dpi, and then you can lower it down to 8x10 if you want to. You can also make these bigger for banners, that kind of thing. So they're like 16x24 for the 2x3, and then you can make that smaller if you want to. So they're all sized, with that in mind. So to make it, you're able to have a variety of print sizes there. because you know when you upscale things, then you lose resolution. So hopefully, I don't think there's any sizes that you would want to print that would be too big for this. There's also a link to the font that I use. So what you do for that, just so we go over it real quick so everybody knows, you click on, at the very bottom of the description, there's a font link. You click on that. So there's a little timer that's going to come up on the left here. So once that counts down, click on this little red text down here that says, "It's hard for me, I just want to download." You're going to click on that, and then that button lights up where it says Download Archive Garmin Font. So that's the font you're going to use. It is free. So then when you click on it, it should go over here to your downloads, in your downloads folder on a Mac. I'm assuming a PC has downloads folder too. And then you can click Open Download Folder, and there it is right there. You can unzip it, and then you can double click it and install it, and you are ready to go. Also, I did mention that you have to cut out the players for this template, obviously. So there's a lot of different ways to do cutouts. You can do it manually in Photoshop if you want to. I would suggest using a third party or a plugin because it's faster that way. So one, and this, they're not paying me to do this. This is just one that I found. My friend Jake Card turned me on to them, and they actually, it works really well. It works better than Select Subject or anything like that in Photoshop. So it's called remove.bg, and they work on a credit basis. So you buy credits. So if you just do one credit for one image, it's $1.99, and then the more you buy, the cheaper it is. So you could do a subscription and get as low as 14 cents an image. Now you got to do a lot of cutouts to do that, obviously, but that's just an option. You could go to a website like Clipping Pass Sector, and they'll do it for you and send you back PSDs. They're relatively cheap. There's a bunch of those out there. So I would suggest having somebody else do it just for time's sake. So that's just real quick, you know, how to go about getting things cut out. A lot of people don't know how to do that either. So, okay, so let's jump over to Photoshop so I can show you how to use these. All right, so I've got the 2x3 vertical pulled up first, which is individual. So I'm going to press Option Command I to go to image size. So you can see it's 16x24 at 300 dpi. Well, let's pretend that you want this to be a 4x6 banner. All right. So if you type in 72, that's how many inches that would be. Then you can see it's going to make 48 width. And then if you hold and click, it's going to show you over here on the preview. It's going to show you before and after. So there's before, and then there's after. So it's not losing much. It's not getting a lot of, like, I've already got some noise built in, so that's going to help with that when you upscale it. But even if we go down to like 200 dpi, that quality is not going to change very much. So you can make them bigger, not a big deal. You can clearly make them smaller, and it's going to be okay. So that's how you can resize it if you want to. All right, so I'm going to hit cancel. Okay. Press Command 0 to go full screen. All right, so we've got the first group over here. So if your layers aren't visible, go to Window, and then click, make sure layers is checked. All right, so the top one, it says border texture. So that is the texture that's gonna give some coloring, and it got some grain in there. If you open it up, there's a flare, so noise at the top. So that's all stuff that's gonna kind of like blend the image together and make it look kind of vintage. So you can turn that off. This is all based on what the user wants to do. So you can turn any of these layers off if you want to. I think it looks good with them on there, but that's, you know, that's obviously built it that way. So you do have the option to turn those off. I recommend leaving them on, but you can do what you want. So the next one down is one of the most important groups. It's called cutout. So when you open that, you see there's a photo filter, and then a color adjustment layer, and then a group that are clipped to. If these come unclipped, if I hold Option and click, then they're gonna come unclipped. So now they're just floating. But if you hold Option and click in between the layer, the group and the layer adjustment there, it's going to make that adjustment only visible on that group, which the cutout is in that group. That's the only layer in there. So you can open it and see right there with the cutout. Okay, those are blending the individual picture with the background. So if I turn them off, you can see that's what it looks like right there. Okay, so that helps it match the background. Okay. And then again, if you unclip them for some reason, if those arrows aren't visible, then you need to reclip them so that they only affect that layer, because you see everything's getting a little bit too warm with them not clipped. So I'm gonna hold Option and click again, and then make sure they're on there. Okay, so let's turn this layer off. This is the one that's gonna come with it, and then let's place another one. All right, so I'm just gonna place the same one. So you need to have your cutouts ready beforehand. Obviously, you can save them as PNGs if you want to, or transparent Photoshop files. But you need to have them all together in a folder, and then go to File, Place Embedded. Make sure you're on that cutout layer that's turned off, and then go to Individual Cutout, and then select that PNG and hit Place. Okay, and then you're gonna move it to where you want. You can size it if you need, resize it if you need to, and then just hit Enter, and then you're good to go. All right, it's gonna make it a smart object, so you can make it smaller and then make it bigger again. You're not gonna lose resolution. That does take up more room on your hard drive. It increases the file size. So if you want to get rid of that, once you know you've got it at the right size, then you can control click and go down to rasterize layer, and that little logo, that little icon will go away on the thumbnail, and then it's rasterized to make the file smaller, right? Then you can delete that original one, right? Okay, so let's close that. We've got a group for the studio logo down here in the bottom left, and if you press Command R, that brings up your rulers, and Command colon brings up your guides. So you can see I've got that aligned with that bottom guide there, and I've got these guides placed so that there's a like a margin around the whole image, an even one, so that you can have. It's important. Spacing is very important with design, so you want everything to be even. That's why I have these up here, and I've got one at 50% vertical and horizontal. All right, let's press Command colon to turn those off. So here's the header. So I'm going to turn off the cutout for now, so we can just go focus on the header for a second. Okay, let's open that group. So you've got a mask on it, on the group here. If you option press, then you can see where I've brushed away to make it look kind of, you know, vintage and beat up to add to that overall look. So the top group is the year, and I've got those separated into 20 and then 24 because they're on different levels because of that flag. So here is, you can change the text color if you press T, once you select the text layer, then there's a swatch at the top that you can change if you want to. But just to make it easier, I did put another block of color clipped to that layer on top, which you can turn it off if you don't want to use that. But I feel like that's easier because you can see the color nice and big above the text. So you can double click that and you can change it to whatever you want. All right, and then again, you know, you can highlight that and change the year if you want to, which you're probably not going to be changing 20 anytime soon, but you know, but you can, and you can change 24 obviously also the same way, right? And then let's see. Okay, so there's no layer style on that. So now the Team Sport does have a little bit of a different. It does have something extra. So it's got the color here, just like the other one, and you can change that if you want. And then if you hit this arrow on the right, then the drop shadow pops up. So if I turn that off, you can see that's where that yellow drop shadow is coming from. All right, so you can double click that and then change the color of the drop shadow if you want to. And then if you wanted to make the size bigger, like you could do that, change the opacity. Like if you wanted to make it more like a standard drop shadow. I've got it a hard edge, so it just looks like the text is duplicated. Again, adding to making it kind of look like printmaking sort of. But you can make it like that if you want to. I'm gonna hit cancel, but that's just an option also. And then we've got the flag, you've got the color up here. You can resize that if you need to. It's also got that same drop shadow. Whenever you're adding drop shadows, be consistent with the color. Make sure that you add it to your swatch library. So let's say we select this color and we want to reuse it on the whole image, then you can hit add to swatches, right? Okay. All right, there's our stars. They've got the color clipped to them also. They're separated in the left and right in that group. And the same thing with the lines, top and bottom. Okay. So that does it for the header, and then the name at the bottom. I'm going to hold space bar and get my hand up there so I can scroll down. All right, so we've got a texture overlay on top that we want to leave on, or you can turn it off. Then open up that group, and then there's the name first on top, first name, last name. Just press T for your type tool. And then, so you've got a box around your type tool, around the little cursor there. When you are over text that's editable, it's going to go away. That's how you know that you're on text. So you can change it to whatever it is, and then press Command Enter, and then it applies it. Change the last name right there if you need to. Color, same way as before. Okay. All right, let's go down to lines. Same thing as up there. Turn it off, turn it on. It's got the color clip to it. Stars, or the star in between, and then the bottom one is the position and the number. Got the color on top, and then you can change the text right there. Okay. And then background, press Command 0 to zoom out. So I'm going to select it and then press V for my move to. So this one actually, okay, so you can see you can move it up. So there's where it's placed. But if you press Command T, then you can see that I've got it sized so it's bigger on the right and then bigger at the bottom, and that's so that you can move it around. There's some grass there at the bottom if you want to, and you can move it so that if you wanted them to have a different sky or a little bit of a variation, then you can move it around a little bit right there. You could also make it smaller if you wanted to. Okay. All right, press Command Z to go back, and then we've got a texture over the top of it too. All right. Okay, so that's it for the individuals. Okay, so there's Several different sizes, but they all work the exact same way. All right, so let's go to one of the group pictures now. Okay, so the header is going to be the same, so I'm not going to go over that. The studio logo is at the top right this time. I didn't open that earlier. It does have a color on it also, and then it is set to 50% opacity, so you can make that 100 if you want, or you can change it to whatever you want. If you turn it off, my logo was white when I brought it in. Whatever you bring your logo in as, that's going to be the color it is until you clip that layer to it, which so you would import the logo right here in between and then delete that one, make sure that color's clipped to it, okay? Okay, the bottom text is going to be the same as the name, it's just laid out a little bit differently. So this time we've got, there's our stars, you can change the color if you want. The year and class right here, so you can see you can change that, and then it's reversed. So I've got that cream color is the main font color on top, and then the drop shadow is the crimson color right here. So you can change that too. All right, and the school doesn't have anything, it's just that one color at the bottom. Okay, now let's go to the player group. All right, so open that. So we've got a little gradient on the top here. It helps kind of fade the players so they kind of blend in a little bit better. A photo filter, and then the color treatment. Okay. So let's go to the front group. Now they've got a mask on them also, so if you hold shift and press it, it'll turn it off. So you can see their legs are cut off down there and turn it back on. That's why I've got that there, so it fades their feet or their legs. Okay, so let's turn these off. Okay, so this is gonna work the same way as it did for the individuals. Zoom out just a little bit. So we'll go to File, Place Embedded. So when you shoot these, you wanna shoot them at a similar focal length, similar angle, right? And distance from the subject, so they all are the correct size. You don't want somebody that's 6'4", shorter than a guy that's 5'7", or the same size even, or close to the same size, because they're going to realize that, right? You want them to be the correct size, so you want to be very aware of the way that you shoot them, make sure it's correct. So let's select player 1, drop him in, and you see, because of the gradient and that color fill that we have over the top also, when you move them around in that group, it's going to go ahead and apply that. So he's a little bit big, so we're going to make him. So if you make them smaller, so like this one, for example, I made that 88.14%. If you go up here, make sure that that little link is checked between width and height so that it sizes them proportionally, because if you don't, then like you can distort them. You don't want to do that, obviously. Okay, so get it about the right size. So this one, I changed it to 88%. So the other ones, you're going to probably want to transform them about the same and resize them about 88% also. It may vary a little bit, but again, you want them to be the correct size. All right, so let's stick him in there, press Enter, then press V for my move tool, and then I can press the arrow key and move him over if I want. You can also just click and drag. All right, so then let's get the second one, File, Place Embedded. Same thing, we'll go click up here on the width and type 88%. It's going to make the height the same because I've got the link checked, hit Enter, and then put him in the right spot. So you can see that's what you're going to do all the way across the board for the other two also, and then you'll have your players in the right spot. Make sure they're even, the right size. See, these two are a little bit too big. Let's make them a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, so that's it. Pretty straightforward. Okay, now, I didn't talk about this on the individuals. When you create this, obviously this is a template, but if you press save, it's going to save over the template. You don't want to do that, right? If you change anything, you want the template to stay as it is. So you want to do save as. So go to File, Save As, all right? And you want to save it as a Photoshop file, right? And then you can, so you've got the template name up here. You can do underscore, you can name it whatever you want. Like I would probably put the team name and then underscore and the player's last name maybe. All right, let's just say, all right, then save that, and then do that every time to make sure you're not saving over the documents. Okay, so this is a group picture, like I said, so we're gonna come back to this, but that's important for the memory mate, all right? So where we're going to now, okay. So let's go to the player photo first. So the name is the same as the individual. Okay, the cutout's the same. You're gonna place that the same way you would before. Place embedded in that folder right there, right? You're gonna turn this one off and then click on that layer, then go to File, Place Embedded. And I understand this is a different picture. That's the wrong one. That's okay. You can put this one on there. he's jumping, but that's not a big deal. If you wanted to use that one, okay, and then click on the original and delete it. Then you're good to go. Close that group, and that's it. All right. Okay, so now let's go to the team photo folder, right, and open that up. Right, so you see there's a layer mask on it right away. If you press Option, click on it, it's right there. That's sized for an 8x10 or 4x5 team picture, okay? So let's open the group and click on the picture we have in there, all right? Now if I press Command: my guides are gonna come up. I've got a guide on all 4 sides where that's supposed to go, but you also have the mask. Now if you move that group, if you click on the group and move it around, it's gonna move the mask too. You don't want that. All right, you want to make sure you move the photo if you move anything, all right? Okay, so let's turn that off. So what you're gonna do is on the 4x5 team photo or group photo, okay? So you can do this 2 ways. You can go, once you're done, you can go to File, Save as Copy, and then I would just name this like flat _ flat maybe, and then do JPEG and save. Or you can click on the top layer in your layers palette and press Shift Option Command E. That's going to stamp everything that's visible and put it on one layer by itself. Okay. Now if you press V for the move tool, press Command A to select all, Command C to copy, then go to your memory mate and press Command V to paste. Now it's going to be, you're going to paste it in that group because you had the team picture selected that you turned off. It comes with the template. Then you press Command T and make sure your link is checked, and then I'm going to hold Option and click one corner and then drag just like that. Okay, now because now I've got my guides turned on and I've got Snap to Guides turned on, so now if you go to View and then go down to Guides, above that it says where it says Snap. You got, or Snap to, you've got guides selected, so it's going to snap to those guides, so it's going to just like a magnet stick to it, and then you can resize it to where it's supposed to be right there, and then hit enter, and then you've got it where it needs to be. Okay, so that's if we copied and pasted. Now the other way is you're going to do it just like you did the individual. File, Place Embedded, go to the flat JPEG that you saved and hit Place, and then from there it works the same. Just drag that corner down. You're already in the group. I don't have to hold Shift or anything to make it proportional when I'm resizing it because it's got that link checked up there. Okay, and you can zoom in to make sure that you're fitting within the mask here. Make sure you don't leave any bare area around the side so there's another color showing through, or not. There's not going to be another color showing through, but make sure that it's sized correctly so it's in the right spot. Command 0. Okay, so make sure everything looks okay. Press Command : to look at it. All right, and then save as, and then like underscore, like memory mate McCracken County baseball or MCHS baseball underscore memory for memory mate underscore Eli James or whatever. All right, so that's the memory mate. Okay. And then again, this one is, if I go to image size or press Command Option I, then you can see the image size 16x20. But you're going to want to print this probably as an 8x10. You can do a 16x20 though. You can offer those. I don't personally offer them. I only offer 8x10s. But you know, if you sell those, then you have the option of both. You can resize it for either one. All right. So now let's go to the button. Same principles, a little bit different. It's a circle. Top group is it's like a guide. So if you turn it off, you just see the design there. So it's a circle. This is like the bleed where it's going to fold and wrap. This is the safe area. And so this is the small circle in the middle is that's the safe area where you're gonna have your design, all right? Okay, so again, we got the texture on top, name and position at the bottom, just like the individuals, then the cutout and the header behind the cutout, and then the background, all right? So cutouts in a group with a mask, and I've got it faded so that you can see that text a little bit better. You can hold Shift and turn it off if you want to. I personally think that looks better. Open that group, and then you get your photo filter and the color correction. Now this one's not in a group, but it doesn't really matter. It works the same. So if you want to turn it off and then go to File, Place Embedded, and select our button cutout, and just put it where you want it, hit enter, and then you're good to go. And then delete the original one, and then that's it. Pretty straightforward. Close that group and then save as, and then that's it. Okay, so that pretty much covers everything, I think. So I spent a lot of time trying to make sure that this was as user-friendly as possible. Like I said, hopefully that is the case. If you have any questions or run into any problems, please feel free to contact me. You can drop a comment in the below, or you can email us. You can email info@matthernandez.creative.com, and we'll be able to answer any questions, hopefully, that you have. There's going to be a lot more templates to come. I really enjoyed making this, and I like helping people. And obviously that I'm selling these, so I'm gonna make some money on additionally also. But I think it's a win-win for everybody because, like I said, I know a lot of photographers don't want to have to learn how to use Photoshop to design stuff like this because it's pretty labor intensive. So hopefully this is going to help everybody out. And feel free to please spread the word. Tell everybody that I am doing this now. There's going to be several more coming soon. Like I said, I plan on keeping it as a continuous thing moving forward. So really excited for the release of these. Hope everybody likes them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.